Casey Guinn, welcome to YouTube Conversations. How are you?
I'm doing very well. It's a beautiful
All
morning in
right.
Costa Rica.
Okay. All right. So, so let's get into this. How old are you?
I'm 32.
32. Okay, around my age. And what is the so you currently own a business. What's the name of your business?
So the business name is La Estrella del Oeste. It's the Star of the West.
Okay, and that's what part of Costa Rica?
So I'm on the Pacific coast, in an area called the Nicoya Peninsula.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So now, before we get into the business, let's just speak a little bit about what led you to the business. Because you started about within around 2 years, right? Year and a half, 2 years.
Yes. So let's see. I started the acquisition of the business probably last September, October, um, and was up and running by November last year. So actually just coming up on a year in operation.
Oh, great. Okay, and you've been busy, right?
We've been busy.
You've been busy.
Um,
Okay.
but the boat industry is a daily maintenance in a lot of different ways.
Great. Okay. So before the boat industry, I guess prior to COVID or during COVID, what was you doing during that time?
So I had a business in Colorado, doing tennis coaching, running, programs for high schools and middle schools, and even got to do some nonprofit work and some really fun things in Colorado. Was focused on doing video work, coming from a background of Texas football. I had done a lot of film study and wasn't seeing that done in tennis, sport I had taken up later in life, and um, was really interested in trying to bring that kind of that level of work, that level of detail into the coaching practice.
Oh, okay, great. So you work with a lot. So basically, you're hands on with people. You've been working with a lot of people for some time, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's to say how did I end up with a boat tour business? I actually grew up in a bar. My parents owned a tourism business and a bar, from when I was 0 till I was 8 years old. So I've grown up around people, and even though I'd probably classify myself as an introvert, I definitely still enjoy getting out there and mingling. And there's a really neat aspect. I bartended my way through college, and there's something similar to this. I meet people from so many different walks of life, and I think that actually makes the job fresher every day, because I am open minded to the fact that you can learn from everybody. So I tend to pull a lot of information from my customers whenever I get a chance to.
Got it. So that's interesting. You said that because that you dealing with so many different people, different personalities, and so forth. So that really comes into when you're on the private boat in your business. You have multiple people on the water, not just in the bar, right? So
Right.
your customer service level with the business is very high because you've been dealing with a lot of people person.
Yeah, it's a benefit. I have a math degree, and I remember very distinctly one of my professors pulling me aside and allowing me to kind of understand that there's a lot of engineers in the world. There's not a lot of people who can sell and build, right? And to take advantage of my opportunity to kind of be able to do both.
Got it. Okay. So when you left the bar business, right? When you left from doing that, what like walk me through the transition for you to what made you want to open up the private boat business, tour guide.
The private boat business almost kind of happened by chance. I was moving to Costa Rica with my girlfriend. That was in her dreams and plans. And so when I
Moving
started
from where?
looking for a business, I just
Moving
started
from
looking for a business to buy and found something that I felt comfortable that I could get into, and did the market research on where the area that I'm in. And there's nobody doing something like what I'm doing. So a big part of it was just kind of seeing the opportunity and going for it that way. I also almost bought a food delivery company because that's not really going on here, but decided that the boat tour companies seemed like a better stream of income.
Got it. Okay. All right. Now I see that the services you provide on your Facebook website, it shows there was a DJ on the boat.
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. We have a pretty good time. I mean, you know, I don't take pictures of everything. I'm pretty bad about that, honestly. But
Okay.
you know, bonfire parties, DJs. I brought massage artists out on the boats.
Okay.
You know, we have a pretty good time for sure.
Okay. And I see here, let me see, give me one moment. I see here, let's see, some of the shows right here, some of the activities. So what are some of the activities someone can expect when they, so walk me through the experience, right? So I'm in New York City and I schedule to come out there. I come out there. What am I expecting? Like, I'm sorry.
So, I mean,
Before you answer that, I apologize. Usually how long when someone books a tour with you, like usually depending on the activity, how long will they be staying on your boat?
so you know, one of the nice things about doing a private tour, so most of the companies here, they leave at 8:30, they come back at 3:30. That's what they do every single day. There's no change in that plan. One of the nice parts about doing private tours only, it's your schedule. So sometimes I'm doing 4-hour trips because they've got a busy schedule while they're down here, and we're just going to do some sightseeing, maybe a little fishing, and come back. Sometimes we're out for 8 to 10 hours. You know, we're throwing an all-day party, and then if they want to keep going, we keep going.
You just keep going. Wow. Okay. So I know some of the activities that you mentioned were you know, of course you have a massage, you have a DJ, snorkeling. What are some of the other things that people are doing on there?
Well, you know, in Costa Rica, we have world-class sport fishing. So if you
Okay.
have any inclination at all to do some fishing, you know, this is one of the top places to do it. So, you know, our mahi mahi season right now is insane. I'm seeing, you know, lots of mahi mahi coming back. I do everything in kilograms now, but I'm sure we're talking to an American audience.
Yeah.
You know, something like 80 to 100-pound mahi mahis, like seriously, seeing them every day,
Wow.
giant mahi mahis. So this is a cool time of year. Obviously, people go out for the sailfish and the marlin as well. But I serve mahi mahi on the boat, so whenever it catches my attention, whenever they're bringing in the good cuts,
And
that's for
what
sure.
is your, like, your capacity? You would say on average, what you're looking for? Because
Yeah. So I mean,
you want to book private with
with
the family and
with
stuff.
with doing private, exactly. So like I look at a couple of demographics, and you know, one thing I really love to work with is families, and then special occasions. So if I go out there and I'm looking for wedding parties and birthday parties, I can find these groups that want that private experience, um, and you know, really cater to them. So for instance, you know, there's some groups, you're doing a wedding party, you might order, you know, 4 bottles of champagne and have a couple of champagne toasts throughout. Some groups might just be into tequila, and we've got a lot of tequila on the boat. You know, we do sashimi. But one thing that's really neat, and I just wanted to say this about the activities, because this exists in a couple of places in the world. This isn't unique to the area, but bioluminescent plankton. So our bay and the surrounding bays have a bunch of mangrove forests. Mangrove forests are really special for the ecology. But one of the neat things that happens out of there is the plankton eat off the mangroves, and they actually glow in the dark whenever you move them. So at night, you can be swimming in pitch black water and see your hands in front of your face. It's one of the coolest things in the world. I'll never get tired of it. I still go out at night sometimes just in the kayak just to go play in it, because it's just so neat. So every time people come into town, I do highly recommend that they find some way to get out and experience that bioluminescent water, whether it's with me or with one of the local guides, doing a kayak tour out of Puro. There's a lot of ways to experience it, but it's truly a sight to behold.
So let me ask you, how would people? I'm always going to put up how someone's able to reach you, but verbally, how would someone? How would you like people to reach out to you to book a tour?
Well, you know, I live in Costa Rica, and as we've communicated on WhatsApp, that is the most popular way to communicate down here. I spent a good amount of time and energy building the website Puro Pacifico Charters, and honestly, there's a lot of great information on there about the area, about the activities, about the boats. So the easiest way is to go on there. There's a direct button to email me. There's a direct button to WhatsApp me, call me. I'm pretty available. Obviously, when I'm on the boat, I have an assistant that takes calls, but for the most part, I handle all the transactions and all the inquiries myself.
Got it. Okay. So walk me through. So that's about the business. So walk me through your first day, right? Your first day setup. So walk me through your first day. You got the boat.
So
yeah.
So day one is picking up the boat, right? I bought the boat from Costa Rica, but I was living in the United States. So day one was go and see the boat and get the boat. I'd only seen pictures. So really exciting. I had my first captain with me. I had a couple of other people I trusted around to come with me and check it out, a mechanic included. So we go take a look at the boat. We're hanging out. It's a great time. We're taking some photos. So that's day one. Day two was finished paying for it. not as exciting. And then paying the lawyers as well to do the transaction and finding out a little bit about what we were going to have to do to maintain its legal status. Because there's always licenses and permits, and especially when you're dealing with tourism and then boats and food and beverage service. There's a lot of different licenses and permits that we have to maintain and take care of. So spending some time with the lawyer on day two, really understanding the time frames on things that we have to keep up with. And so, like business is, right? It's a lot of ups and downs. And so yeah, day one was just all excitement, just pure ecstasy. And then day two was nuts and bolts. And so, it goes that way a lot, and I kind of actually enjoy that grounding experience. For instance, you might have a couple of tours in a row and you don't have a good opportunity to clean the boat, and the next day you're off. You've really got to get out there and deep clean everything, Obviously during COVID, we've been able to keep sanitized pretty easily. Honestly, it's just not hard, when you have 12 hours in between working. But yeah, there's just, water pumps need maintenance, everything on a boat takes salt water all day. So it all has to be kind of taken care of and maintained pretty regularly.
Wow. So it's a big shift, right? It's a big shift from where did you grow up at? Where did you come from?
I grew up, man. I wouldn't call it a small town, but I grew up in a town. It was 35,000 people in the middle of Texas, smack dab in the middle of Austin and San Antonio. I was very fortunate. It was a wonderful place to grow up. We had 2 rivers, 2 lakes. The town was extremely safe. I was allowed to be outside most of my childhood. So, just pretty lucky for me. And it even worked out. I had a great job there all the way, through college in the summers, and I was a whitewater river guide. So I had, once again, I'd had some background in tourism before I had decided on this boat tour company, growing up in my parents' bar and restaurant and river outfitter, and then working for a river outfitter down the road for myself.
Okay, so you speak Spanish, right?
Un poquito más.
Poquito español.
No,
Okay.
en verdad yo aprendo todos los días, pero poco a poco, porque es cuando no más joven es poco más difícil por aprender de nuevo idioma, en verdad.
That sounds really great. I don't speak Spanish. I'm Hispanic.
No
So
worries,
I don't
man.
speak it.
You said you were Trinidadian, so I thought maybe you had a little bit.
Poquito. That's about it. So also, one thing that I'm hearing about your parents. I grew up very differently, right? I grew up very urban, single parent household. So you grew up with 2 parents?
I did until I was 8. They separated. So I have 4 older siblings, but my youngest sibling is 10 years older than me. So by the
Okay.
time I was 7, I was actually alone in the house. And by the time I was 8, my parents split, and I was, I spent time with dad, but I definitely spent most of my time with mom.
So as of today, are they both parents supportive with your decisions and what you try to, what you're accomplishing and so forth?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, my mom has actually visited a couple of times already, and the plan is to actually have my dad move out here in a year or a couple of years once he gets some things settled in the States. So yeah, they're supportive, and I think my whole family's been pretty excited about it. It was a bold risk to move to another country and start a business, but um, there's no time but the present.
Absolutely. So having, you know, you're very driven. I can tell you're very driven. You're gonna be successful on your own anyway, right? But to have that family support, I think with a lot of families they run away from people their family ideas because they feeling oh wait, how much do I have to pay? How much do I have to financially? And it's not necessarily about money, it's really about just um helping out, right? Verbally, at least just encouragement, because a lot of what's happening now is just this is a lot of the mental illness, right? I think it just stems from depression, and I think simply the people that you grew up with, just having some encouraging words can definitely go a long way. So I am glad to hear that you had family support.
Blessed is the only way to describe it. Honestly, my family is amazing. Obviously, with my siblings being 20 to 10 years older than me, um, our relationships weren't very strong until I became an adult and could actually kind of level with them. But imagine being a kid and having a bunch of teenagers in the house. I mean, I had unlimited attention. You know what I mean? So yeah, I've had it. As good as anybody. Probably my family's amazing. I can't second that enough.
And I think that's also great because not only are you family oriented, you also are building generational wealth, your own company, right? Big, small, little, huge, you know, you're able to, just like you got the family support is inherited in you, you're able to pass that down. Now I'm from New York City. Family support is extremely lacking. So to hear your experiences is very refreshing. So walk me through you as a business owner, right? You got your first customer. Well, I'm sorry. Before we get
Yeah.
into that, I
So
apologize.
I
Wait,
skipped a question earlier. But my main boat, the boat that I started the business with, now I have 2 boats and I rent out 4 more, and I'm looking at kind of continuing to expand over the next couple of years. But my main boat has a capacity for 30 people.
30 people.
So my first trip, we had basically done a promo. So maybe that's not the right way to do it, where we basically invited people to come out. So the first paid trip, um, I've been nervous for a lot of things. I played collegiate sports. I like butterflies, but they were there,
Mm.
right? Because you need everything to go off without a hitch, and you need them to see fish when they go snorkeling, and you need them to catch fish when we do fishing, and you don't know if it's going to happen. You just never know. It could
Mm.
rain that day. So the day one was excellent. I remember our guide Steven had brought out, it was about 12 guys. They'd all went to school at UCLA, I believe. No, UC Berkeley. So it was a bunch of guys from UC Berkeley. We went fishing. We went to Isla Tortuga. I cooked lunch. It was a lot of fun. They drank a ton of beer, and yeah, it was a blast. I probably won't ever forget those guys. I think I might have even been my first Instagram follow was UC Berkeley or something like that after that. But I definitely went on, and that was the first time I'd ever tried to use Instagram, because for whatever reason I didn't really do it with my tennis coaching, but I have been trying to keep up with the Instagram with this.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, me too. I don't really the stuff that I personally do. I'm not necessarily displaying my life story on there's some people that do, right? And it works out for them, but a lot of stuff I don't record or take pictures of, unfortunately. So the experience I can't share with a lot of people, only verbally. So even with the promo, right? So the promo you did, of course, you're not getting paid. So you're coming out and I'm only speaking because a lot of people that are starting up, they don't quite understand how much actually goes into um there's a lot you have to do without making money because you have to provide the service
Yeah.
first and people got to see. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, you need exposure, right? Some people are able to do that entirely online, maybe kind of product dependent. But for providing a service, absolutely, people need to know the service. And because we're doing private tours on a bigger boat, the cost is a little higher than, the local guys here have what we call pangas, which are small fiberglass boats, something between 20 and 30 feet. They don't have bathrooms or showers or kitchens or anything, like that, right? It's a travel boat. And so, to bring something out that's a little bit different, obviously the price is a little bit higher. So with that increase in price, you have to sell that. So I've actually changed the name of the company since I've been here to help out with that. So probably about 6 months in, my advertising firm that I use here for my T-shirts and my cards and all that, and this guy's is a great family. It's a mom and pop and their kid running around causing a scene all the time. But Sebastian was like, Casey, I love your logo, but what does it say? And I had chosen something that was red and green and yellow. I wanted that island vibe. I wanted that, the everything's Iriman, kind of thing going on, right? But he basically said, that's great, but what is your company? Your company is more about class and being more professional. We need to make your logo, we need to make your brand look like your service. And it just immediately, I was just like, you're 100% right. And so the first thing I did is I actually changed the name of the company from tours to charters, because that's really what I do. I don't give a tour to the island. I charter a boat. Do you want to stop at the island? Do you want to be there for an hour? Do you want to go to another beach? Do you want to fish? Do you want to get dropped off at a place to surf? We have surf spots that you can't get to by walking, right? It's called a point break. So it's actually off of the coast. So we do all kinds of different little things. And that word charter, it's only one word, right? But had I thought about this before I started the business, that first trip, those first times I went into businesses, the second times I went into businesses, the third times I went into businesses to try to pitch the company, right?
Got it. Okay.
If I had if everything had said more professional, then that would have worked out better, right? There's no doubt in my mind, having changed this beforehand. But now I'm getting to remarket. I've got the website rebuilt with more boats on it instead of just the one. And I've made my price point actually more inclusive, I believe, especially to smaller groups. And yeah, so it was a whole rebranding effort. But you say, are you ready on day one? No, you're not ready on day one. You try to be ready on day one. You do everything you can to be ready on day one, but you need to be ready to change and adapt. And I got hit with a good idea right in my face, and I ran with it. So I'm happy to have, what's made me successful is the team of people that I've put around me. And Sebastian is one of those people. Even though he's just a graphic designer, right? But I allow him to be a part of the creative process and give him as much freedom as possible to be an expert at what he's an expert in, and to help me grow my business. And so, I don't really think about it like I'm hiring him. I almost think of him as like a piece of my own company, and that's kind of the same way with even the guys that help me clean the boat. Right. It's try to create that family atmosphere, take care of each other, and grow together.
No, absolutely. So yeah, a lot of people that start their own business, they keep forgetting their title, right? CEO, owner, right? So owner, you have to depend on people. There's nothing, you have to depend on people. So to find people that you can trust, like you graphic designer, you can give him the freedom and trust to allow him to be very creative, right? So I think that's very important as well. And one thing about business, you can't cater to everybody. Your price is your price.
Right, right. And no,
if you
and that's exactly it. I have no problem helping people get to a non-private experience, right? But there's just a price increase when you don't pack out a boat.
if you want the
So
experience, I'm explaining that everything you're explaining, if people want to experience that, right? Because also safety, you have several safety precautions. Well, safety is number one. If they want to have a safe ride, have the experience that this is the price is the price. There's no negotiations, right? So so other than that, is there anything that you want to tell people? Because we're gonna try to share this as much as possible. I know a lot of people, especially with everything that's happening now, traveling out of the United States is their priority. You'd be surprised. A lot of people have savings and so forth. And they're saying they want to travel. They definitely need a week or two, month away from New York City. So, what is something that you want to tell people?
gosh, I guess I would just speak to Costa Rica in general because it's such a beautiful country. The people here are so amazing, and the sites it's on both. It's on the Atlantic and the Pacific Ocean. You can kind of see. You can go to the Caribbean. You can do the whole, and it feels like you're on an island on the Caribbean side, or you can go up into the mountains, or you can go into the deep rainforest, or you can come over here to the Nicoya Peninsula, which is one of the 5 blue zones of the world. People live longer lives here and happier lives here than anywhere else in the world, besides 4 other places. And the reason for that is in part because the cuisine is so fresh. There's so much available food here, and lifestyle. It's a very active place. People are outside quite often, and it's a very safe country to visit from everything that I've experienced. And yeah, but come to the Nicoya Peninsula, check out Santa Teresa, one of the best surf towns in the world. If you've got a family, come stay in Tambor. We've got a really calm beach here. We've got the bioluminescent plankton, amazing wildlife, parrots flying overhead, monkeys over your house every day. So yeah, check it out. Get out and explore. That's the one piece of advice. Don't stay in one place. We even if you're on vacation, there's people who might stay 2 weeks in one place in Costa Rica, but it's a small enough country. I would recommend spending time in multiple different places if you come to visit here.
Yeah, and you need a passport to get over there, right, from the U.S.
Absolutely, and the vaccine mandate is tentatively set for January 8th, but everybody keep their fingers up in the air on that one because it's still not 100% through the process here. So we don't really know. Businesses are, we're wondering ourselves, and we don't know what'll happen. But I think most customers that are traveling internationally are getting vaccinated anyways. So it shouldn't cause too much of a stir to the economy here.
No, not at all. The traveling business, people want to get away all the time, so that's never going to be an issue. So other than that, Casey Guinn, I highly appreciate you taking the opportunity to allow me to even interview you. I highly appreciate it, and I really appreciate the experience with you. Thank you.
Hey, I appreciate your time, man. I wish you the best of luck in all your future endeavors. Hopefully we can keep in touch. Come to Costa Rica, get on the boat.
Okay.